Now, I hope you have understood what I said this morning. I think that must be seen again. Repetition, it's very beautifully interwoven, but something very, very important and vital. Now, whatever I've said is this mental projection is the main thing you have to understand. Where's Gregor? To translate. Just translate. Mental projection, about mental projection. That's the main thing I feel you all suffer from. Like you see, we always have an inquiry. Inquiry about spiritual life, what is this, what is that, mother tell us about this, mother tell us about that. Now, what I was saying about mental projection is that we live on our mental level all the time. As I gave you an example, that supposing you have to go to a picnic and mentally you prepare yourself, you plan. With that planning, you think you have done the job. When you go to the picnic, you find you haven't taken anything because you have written down everything, you have planned everything, it's all finished. It's in a mental way, it's done, but actually it has not happened. In the same way, our spiritual inquiry is also a mental projection. Like some people can ask why God has created us, why He has created this universe, why there is misery. But we don't realize the inquiry comes from the area where there is ignorance. It comes from ignorance. The inquiry comes from ignorance, not from knowledge. And that's why this inquiry, if it is answered, it is a darkness answer to darkness makes no difference at all. It can never solve the problem. For example, to a blind man, what's the use of telling what color is this cloth? Better thing is to open his eyes and then he should see for himself. Or else, like some Sahajogis, he can close his eyes again and ask questions again, what color is this cloth? As a matter of habit, I cured a blind man in India, and many things he could only tell after closing his eyes, most surprising. Because he could feel with his fingers that the habit he has developed and he would not use his eyes. And same thing happens to Sahajogis, that after realization, when your eyes are open, you have seen the light. Still you put your mental projection into action and try to understand everything through your mental activity. So one must know that any inquiry that comes is coming from a person who has not known. Once you have known, then what is there to ask? Kabira has said, Mast hue fir kya bole. When you have become one with God, then what is there to talk? Or what to ask? But the mental projection is such a dangerous thing that it always keeps you away from reality. It's a vicious circle and you cannot break it. So best thing is, first of all, you get your realization, you become an aware person, enlightened person, and then see for yourself, experience it. Now say if you want to ask a question, say even if you want to know about me, you just think, let us think about Mother's Kundalini, see what happens. You become thoughtless, just see that. No thought. Gregor can translate. But this is only because you are realized souls. If you are not a realized soul, still you will go on inquiring about it. If you understand this subtle point, then you will not be satisfied with your mental inquiry. If not God, they will talk about something divine and something spiritual when they are drunk especially. Especially when they are confused, they don't know what spirits they are talking about. I feel all blind are talking to blind. And how can blind lead you anywhere? That's why it is said that through tarka, through rationality, you cannot achieve God. It is a limited thing. But again, this should not become an obsession with you, which is a mental obsession. Like we can say, I am doing meditation. What is there to do meditation? You can't do meditation, you are in meditation. Like French may say, I make meditation. You can't do that. You are in meditation when you are in thoughtless awareness. When you are in that state, then you are in meditation. Now this mental projection business is to be handled very carefully because it comes from a very big giant within us called Mr. Ego. That's why it is important to see it clearly and not to be frightened of it. Because if you have superego, then you will trouble others. Is not the point. You will be troubled yourself. You will have pains. You will have all kinds of body feelings about it. But if it is an ego, others will be troubled by it. So, to stop all this useless mental activity, one has to understand that Kundalini must be kept jetting out of your Brahmarandra. By mental projection you cannot raise Kundalini, that you know, you cannot keep it there. So what technique of the divine you know, you should use that. Keep your Kundalini on a level where it is emerging out of your Sahasrara and your hands should feel the vibration. Now mental projection is a very difficult stuff. So it sounds very enchanting and more one feels that you have been very brave about it. When you argue with other people and they argue with you and then you bring the point, you think you have won the Davis Cup. But what is the gain? Neither you have gained nor the other person. You have gained nothing whatsoever. So the report should be such that it ends all the reports. The question should be such that it ends all the questions. And this is what is the technique of the divine which you know about. All the inquiries of this nature, if you ask the divine, you become thoughtless. Why? Why do we become thoughtless when you make any such inquiry? Because the state is important. The state is important and not the mental understanding of your inquiry. It's the state that you achieve is important. Again see the point, state. For example, children live in that state and they are not bothered about inquiries. They think it's stupid. Their ways and methods are so simple because they don't believe in all nonsensical difficult things. But for educated people, intellectuals and the kind of people who are here, the habits are there. Oxford, Cambridge, then John Hopkins. You never found God there, did you? Did you find God there? Did you find your spirit there? So this is a new school into which you have entered and you have to change your methods and ways. In India, once Sahajogi had a seminar and they were having a brain trust.
Brain trust.
Brain trust. You were a member of that and also Mr. Warren and also Dr. Barjaurji and I think Bala. And you too? No. But I have nothing to say against it as such. It's the childish play of the children, I would say. But you cannot have brain trust.
Mother, you mean this seminar?
No. One of the Bombay seminars we had.
In India?
Yes,
All the great stalwarts of Sahaja Yoga.
4 days.
I was not there.
Just see the way we are here, for informal. Yeah.
That was a point of clarification.
All these stalwarts from Bombay and had an idea of a brain trust, you see. And they were going round and round and round. But whatever it was, I was enjoying their play, their acrobats. Now you don't have to trust the brain, you have to trust your spirit. And this is the new dimension into which you have come, which must be understood in a different light that you have not seen before. Once you realize this, then you will know why so many great prophets were never been to any university. Of course, vice versa is also not true, that those who do not go to university are all realized souls.
Cela ne veut pas dire que vice versa est vrai, c'est-à-dire
Neither this nor that. Both are not going to take you to God. What is going to take you to God is your own desire to be one with Him. The Kundalini itself, the desire, she is the desire born, she is going to take you to God. As I told you before, we have destroyed a lot of it before realization, and after realization also by not maintaining it, we can destroy. So now if you have any inquiry, please ask me questions. Alright, you can ask me. थोडे खा, तुम्ही आईच्या घरी आले, आमचा प्रसाद आहे, घ्या. झाली आज पूजा झाली सकाळी, घ्या. माझ्या हजबंडला फार आवडलं तुमचं. He wants to arrange a big program in his organization. फार मोठा ऑर्गनायझेशन आहे त्यात हिजवांचं. तर ते म्हणत होते. Yes, please. All right, let's have it. Yes, what is he saying?
He asked whether by concentrating on a spot one can influence vibrations, improve vibrations.
By Agya? From Agya?
From the Agya point.
Never.
La réponse est jamais.
You can get possessed. You see how?
On peut seulement être possédé.
I'll tell you what. How do the people get these, do you know these tantrikas, how they pick up these bhoots? Do you know how do they manage them? They concentrate on some sort of a thing like a flame or something without realization, with their agya looking at it. Now by that pressurizing, what happens, because the agya chakra is not open very much, it forces to the left or to the right. And you get into the collective subconscious or collective supraconscious. Now the vibrations you get from these is nothing but shaking. But what happens, like somebody once told me that one of the Sahajogis he met in Bombay, and suddenly in his presence he became silent. Ah, I said, that's it. I must find out. And he was the one possessed by Agya. He used to show people Sainath here and all sorts of things he was doing. I never knew. Because that is a possession that comes in, suddenly you go out of your awareness and you become absolutely silent. That happens with most of the gurus, you see. What they do is to turn the chakra like that, and by that suddenly you become silent because you are no more there. There's a spirit. But these people end up with epilepsy, you have seen that, or end up in lunatic asylum. All such people who try these things ultimately do not rise in Sahaja Yoga much. Now, one has to also understand that to achieve peace is not to run away from reality. Reality itself is peace. But if you are on the periphery, then you cannot feel the peace, but if you are on the axis, axis is the peace. But supposing by any chance you find at the periphery there is peace, you are standing at the periphery and suddenly you become peaceful, then that means you are driven out of even the periphery. So one should be very cautious about Agya Chakra. The inquiry about these things start? Because Agya Chakra gives you a new experience. People start seeing light. As St. Paul saw how much bad he has done to the Bible itself. You see all kinds of things, but what is there to see? If you are away from it, then only you see, you are not in it. So all these experiences should be given up. The only experience that is the highest is the experience where you feel the energy going from you in your hands or coming to you from all over. As cool breeze, as Chaitanya Lahari. Also from Sahasrara and from your hands, sometimes you get it on your feet. And don't try these tricks of concentrating your eyes onto something. You might even at least become a squint, if not anything else. Squint. You have to raise your Kundalini through Sahasrara. That's the only way you should come up. This is just the window. Don't try to get out of the window, otherwise you'll hurt yourself. You have to get out of the door here. Alright?
Mother, many have asked me, how do you keep the attention above the Agya Chakra? How do you keep it there?
Attention above the Agya Chakra. See, there's a Sanskrit saying, yan neti, neti vachanai nigamo avojis. When you see a thought, you just say not this, not this. Because you are realized souls, not before that. Before that this won't work out. Now your Kundalini has gone up. You just look at your thoughts and they'll settle down. Then there are questions, fundamental questions that you should ask. Is there God? Ask a question. Questions that are sublime, which are fundamental, absolute. If you ask after realization, again after realization, your attention goes up. Where is your attention? You see, people see vibrations where, mother, should I buy this frock for my daughter or not? See the vibrations. Then, mother, will I get this job or not? Is it good for me to take this job? All sorts of nonsensical things. You see, all this is not important. Ask for something great, ask for something sublime, a question which is eternal. Why ask these useless questions? How many times you have been married, how many times you have had children in previous lives, how many times you have had job and unemployed and jobs and all your lives you have done nothing but this nonsense. Are you going to repeat that even after realization? Because our attention is there, see. That's why our attention is low. Ask all the greatest questions of the world. Your attention will be beyond the Sahasrara. So attention is your slave. Wherever you want to put it, it will go there. If you want to go into a dirty lane, you can go. If you want to go to a sublime temple, you can go. You have to ride your attention. Still the question remains.
Yes, I'll translate.
Demande-lui si on peut soigner quelqu'un maintenant en pensant à une personne.
She asked whether she can now cure somebody, and if yes, how?
Show what?
Cure, mother.
Yes, yes, you can. Why not? But depends on what disease they have.
Ça dépend quelle maladie ils ont.
So for example, you must feel the vibrations. Whatever chakras they are catching, you should say the mantras. And there is the Kundalini. Also on Kundalini you can see, yes, it will be throbbing at that point. By putting your hand also, she understands English. That much, isn't it, Malika? Yes. When you put your hand on the patient and that part, for curing, put your left hand and right hand towards the photograph. You can cure. There are so many ways and methods. You can cure, just touch. You can cure. Go down.
We should not use the mantra, should we, before realization?
Oh, it has no meaning. You are not connected. Mantra has to be awakened. It has no meaning. It is not a vehicle. There is no light. What's the use? This is supposing there is no light in it and I take it in the darkness. Will I see it? That we laugh at, but we always do like that. All the time what we are doing is we are doing something that doesn't exist. Can you translate?
Sorry, Mother, I was...
The question she asked, should we not use mantras before realization? So I said, without the light in there, supposing I take this one around, will I see anything? It should be enlightened, it should be Jagrut. And how will you know also which mantra to use because you don't know which center it is catching? Now, any other question?
Can I ask a question about chakra, which I had 2 or 3 different reports. I'm not even sure I have the name right. Mahaganesha Pati, is it? Somewhere here, and what are the aspects and what parts of the body does it affect?
What's its name?
Mahaganapati chakra. She's asking where it exists and what part of the body does it affect and how
Mahaganapati. Mahaganapati in the Sahasrara, it is at this point, just the opposite of Agya, and it controls your Ganapati, the Muladhara down below. The whole of psyche it controls, I should say. You see, whatever is in the chakras, it is represented in the Sahasrara. In the Sahasrara, it is called as Maha, while in the chakras, it is called by the simple name. All right? Because Sahasrara is the universal thing. It is a part of the universal being. The awareness is of the universal being in the Sahasrara. That's why it is Maha. For example, this is Vishuddhi chakra. Here it becomes Virata. Here he exists as Sri Krishna here as Virat. Alright?
When you're working on people and you draw the sign of Ganesha on their palm, is that something that just you do? And if it's something that we can do when we work on people, when should we do it?
You can do it, but do you know why I do it?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking, Mother.
Here it is on the left side of the Sahasrara. What exists there? Tell me. What? Ego is gone. And on the right side? Super. So to counteract that, do you understand? Now, the left side is given the mark of the swastika because it is the left side. Alright? And here it is the cross because it is the right side. Because the left side becomes, the left swastika becomes the action of cross. But here it is ego. So the mantra that is said on the left hand side is that please forgive me. Means to overcome your ego you have to say please forgive me. And when you do it on the right hand side, you say that I forgive. It is a double combination. Because Agya Chakra has Ham Ksham, 2 mantra bijas. That is I am and I forgive. So both of them is a double combination. That you draw the left side of the psyche is the swastika. Alright? And in that desire, because the ego is there at the Sahasrara, you say. And the right hand, you draw the cross, because that becomes the cross in the right hand, representing the right side, complete right side. But because of the Sahasrara point, you say that I forgive. In action also, see, Ganesha is the one who kills. He just kills. So you have to say forgive me. But Christ, you have to say that I forgive everyone. As he forgave. So it's I should say triple combination in a way. Do you understand? First is the left hand on the Sahasrara. It's a left hand. So that is to be established. then the deity on the left hand has to be, who will be the left hand deity? Will be Christ.
Yes.
And because he is the forgiving. I'm sorry, Ganesha is the one because he is the killer. I'm sorry, Ganesha. He is the killer. And because he is the killer, you have to say forgive me.
Alors, c'était pas yes.
It's a triple combination. Alright. And the right hand side, just see how it is combined. Right hand side is Christ, who says I forgive. And he is the one who is the killer of ego. So the killing of Ganesha is important, because at this point, if you do not have Ganesha, the killing, you will not say forgive me. Unless and until somebody is going to kill you, you are not going to say forgive me. Can you? So the settling, why cross has taken? Did you follow? Many people ask why it is crossed. It is crossed for this reason. Your ego can never be conquered by saying, I forgive everyone. But for an egoistical man, it is better to tell. Now if you tell an egoistical man that you say that, I forgive all of them, then his ego is pampered, no doubt. But Christ is awakened. The trick, this is the Vidya, this is the Sri Vidya, this is the trick. Now, when to a superego fellow, if you tell him that you ask for forgiveness, it is his nature all the time asking forgiveness, so he doesn't mind. If you tell such a person that you forgive others, he'll say, oh, I always forgive, no question, I have the one who's done all bad things, you see. Superego man, he takes all blame upon himself. So, for such a man, you have to say that you ask for forgiveness. He's very happy. But by saying that, you awaken Sri Ganesha. So first two things are actually for awakening, and the third thing is befooling. This is the Leela. Otherwise, you see, if you cannot get out key with straight finger, better bend it and take it out. You have to somehow or other see to it that Kundalini comes up. Alright? I'm happy you have asked the question, because I had never divulged it to you. What's it now?
I was working on someone the other day and their hands went absolutely ice cold. What does it mean and what do we do about
When was that?
In Cheltenham, Mother, I met someone, I gave a bit of advice.
His hands were absolutely cold?
Went ice cold. Just
His eyes. He must be very low blood pressure. Moreover, if they are numb, then he is out for death.
He felt the cool breeze with it.
You see what I'm saying? If it is numb, numbness is a sign of death, coming death. So be careful with such people. Tell them. Like Dr. Date, he wanted to know what is Sahaja Yoga. As usual, he called a patient who was just dying, for a heart patient. So I told that I'll cure her, but she will die. I told him. He could not believe it. When I cured him, he said, now she's all right, she's walking about. I said, she's going to die. She won't live after 2 days. You take it from me. He said, how can you say that? I'm sure. She died. She got cool breeze, everything, she was walking, but she died. But you need not announce to them. त्याचं सांगायचं की तुम्ही मारायची व्यवस्था करा. पुढच्या मार्गात काय प्रश्न?
I want to ask this, is it necessary to make one guru in your life?
Oh yes.
And if it is so, I want to know the custom. How do you?
See, Guru is that which makes you meet God. Guru वही जो साहिब मिले. Otherwise the rest of the nonsense is useless. Right? You have to have a Guru, because only an enlightened light can enlighten another. With light which is not enlightened cannot enlighten another. So a person who takes money cannot be a Guru. A person who lives on your charities is a parasite. A person who has an immoral life cannot be a guru. So one has to understand a guru is the one who raises the kundalini and gives you realization. Otherwise he is not a guru. That's the only way you should have a guru. Otherwise there are many bhamtas, as we call them in the world, who are just there, who are interested in your purse. Marathi language is the best to describe it. Das Bodha त्यांनी खूप सांगितलेलं आहे. We have lots of them, tantrikas, this, that, all full of. You have one in Lucknow, Bhutnath. Ganeda Manushya. How? Actually Rakshasas, real Rakshasas. You can't charge money, you can't, so you must have compassion and love and you should gain. How can a guru take it? I mean, if he lives on your money, then he is a parasite. Definitely. How can he be your guru? But guru you should only have when you are seeking God. Otherwise you should not have any guru. What is the need? You are all right as a human being. But if you want to become Atma Sakshatkari, then you have to have some guru. Now see, I am their guru. Naturally I have given them realization. They of themselves have become gurus now. They can give realization too. But I am their mother. This is a very difficult situation. If mother becomes the guru, you can imagine. Horrible job.
Mother, in Australia, we had, for this lady, we had an Indian lady who came to Australia, and she had a similar question to ask me, and she said, do I continue to follow the same guru whose ashram I was visiting in Bangalore? Not this big fellow, but some small ashram. And I said, get your kundalini awakened first, feel the vibrations, and then you can decide for yourself. And she did that. And she got the cool vibrations. And she asked the question, is he a guru of truth? Is he a Satguru? And she found out for herself. This is the beautiful part.
You see, all real people know each other. There's no controversy. Like in India we have Gagan Maharaj now. I'd never met him before. I never had any idea about him. And a lady doctor came to see me and she said, Mother, I went to see Gagan Maharaj. And he said, now Mother has come, why are you coming all the way to the Gad? Why don't you go and see her? So I said, where is she? So he told me that she's in Bombay, she's such and such, you won't see. We all know each other. You see, there is no controversy because truth is only one, isn't it? But he is such a strict fellow that I dare not send anybody to him because he'll break your necks, you know. He is not so kind as I am. And he is very harsh with them. And if you say anything against me, then naturally he gets very annoyed. It's a very, very difficult man, very difficult person. But there are many real gurus. But first of all, why not become yourself your own guru by getting realization? That's the best, as he said. बसा आताच बसा शांत आता होईल तुम्हाला दोघा तिघांना होऊन जाईल पटकन होऊन जाईल जस्ट पुट युअर हँड्स टुवर्ड्स मी जस्ट लाईक दिस कलाकारांना तर फार जरुरी आहे म्हणजे तत्व होतं वॉट एव्हर इज युअर तत्व यू बिकम ॲब्सोल्यूट पुट युअर टुवर्ड्स मी ऐसे रखे हे तर पारच आहेत मला वाटतं लागते तुमचे हे पारच आहेत जन्मलेच पार असा हो हो ते पारच आहेत मला त्याला तसेच वाटते तिचे मला वाटतं आहे हात में थंडा का रे अरे ना दोघं जण पार आहेत आपण काय ऐसा आप ही अपने गुरु हो जाइए क्या मतलब ऐसा वाटतं काय थंड गार गार वाटतं लगता है yesterday dancing again raised his kundalini. That's nice. असा हात जरा रखला कारण कला आहे ना का भावना जास्त These vibrations. उशीर होतो तेही सहज झालं नाही तर तुम्हाला मी पकडतानाच आलं सहयोगात. हा बरा आलं ते बरं झालं शिराने. हा what do you say Natal?
Right heart, right Svadhisthana, right Krishna.
Right heart, right Svadhisthana.
Left heart.
आता लक्षात करायला हवं. ओव्हर एक्झर्शन आहे तुम्हाला. आहे ना? What about her? Is she alright? She too has the same thing? Please, what do you say?
Left Svadhisthana. Left Svadhisthana.
She's left Svadhisthana?
A little bit, not much.
But vibrations are good.
But much stronger vibrations. Left heart.
सर्दी होती क्या आपको बहुत? राइट विशुद्धि में सर्दी होती.
Qu'est-ce que c'est le Vishuddhira?
You will start feeling warm here. यहाँ बोटाती गरम गरम है ना, गरम गरम आता है हाथ में. इस उंगली पर आ रहा है कुछ. ये चक्र आपका राइट विशुद्धि थोड़ा पकड़ चला जाएगा. ऐसे आ सकता. He's all right. Is he? Left to the right.
Much better now.
ओव्हर एक्झर्शन आहे तुम्हाला, फार ओव्हर एक्झर्शन, टू मच फिजिकल. हा ना शीज ओके. आप पा रहे ठंडक सी? हाँ बच्चों को आ रही. तुम बोले बोलो तो नहीं पा रहे तुमचे. माझे 4 ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन पा रहे. हाँ ना इजी बेटर. हार्ट that's it. हा हात उजवा हात हात ठेव. उजवा हात हातवर ठेवा असा असा खाली. मनात असं म्हणायचं की माताजी मी आत्मा आहे असं मनात म्हणा. म्हणा मी आत्मा आहे. तुम्ही आत्मा आहात. शरीर बुद्धी मन अहंकार काही नाही. आत्मा आहात. परत म्हणायचं आय एम द स्पिरिट. हा बेटा त्यांच्या आईचं कसं आहे? आईला बरं असतं. आई कशा आहे? कधी वारला? काय ना तुम्ही डोळे उठवून त्यांना म्हणा की मी ठीक आहे, तुम्ही माझी काळजी सोडा. परत जन्म घ्या, पार होऊन घ्या माताजी म्हणतात. असं किल्ला म्हणत आहे. All right? Better on the heart. येते का आता? आता हलत नाही हात बघा. सुरुवातीला हलत होता. Better?
Left heart is much better. Right heart is still catching. Right heart is still catching.
वडील कुठे असतात? वडील त्यालाही सांगा. वडील हिंगा त्यांना सांगा आमची काळजी सोडा. दोघंही आमची काळजी सोडा. परत जन्म घ्या. हा बेटर ना.
Ladies center heart is catching. आप बंगाली है या?
बंगाली आप?
हाँ.
आप बंगाली.
That's why that's Svadhisthana.
They are the worshippers of Kali.
And Durga also.
And Durga. And वही चक्र पकड़ता है. आश्चर्य. हाँ ना येते का आता? वाटते काही का नाही? Just on his forehead. Head.
Should they ask the question?
All right. All right. You go and ask her to ask in her heart. Try. कसं वाटतं आता? हलकं वाटतं एकदम? निर्विचार आहे? रिलॅक्स? हातात थंड येते? दुसरा हात माझ्याकडे करा. उजवा हात.
पूछे माँ आप तो अब साक्षात होगा
आ रहे आ गया
थोड़ा विश्वास था
कुछ तो है ही ये तो सबकी इतने हजारों कुंडली तो नहीं उठा सकती, माँ ही उठा सकती, पहचानेंगे कैसे? सवाल पूछे। हाँ
It is coming, but the moment it comes,
आ गया। शंका नहीं करना, सवाल पूछ के देखिए बगैर शंका, बहुत बड़ी चीज।
you have to recognize.
हाँ इजी बेटा। बेटे ना there is a right to the left.
Right to right.
He's all right. No, this is left to the right. All right? Better? Are you feeling any cool breeze in the hand?
I always feel sweaty.
That's it. Sweating you should not. Now you will not
I
feel.
have dancing room.
No, but you will not feel once it happens to you. All right? Just be careful. Heart पे चक्र पकड़ा हुआ है.
When she asked you the question, do I need a guru? It spun.
You don't need. You need a guru. You are your own guru. Kundra. हार्ट से
It's much better.
आपको अच्छा लग रहा है? इसे कहाँ तक सही बात? थॉट तो नहीं आ रहा आपके लिए. There's no thought in your mind. Just watch your thoughts. Close your eyes and see which are going on.
What to say?
कोई थॉट्स है क्या? विचार आ रहा है? आंख बंद करके देखिए. Right. Yes, can you close your eyes? Close your eyes. हो गया, बिल्कुल निर्विचारता आ गई आप में. एक क्षण भी आदमी निर्विचार नहीं हो सकता. हाँ, just see on his head. Just see on top of her head, is it? All right? He's all right. He's doing well.
recognition, this void in it.
I was saying that I will talk to him, that in this hall we can start a class once a week or something for the children, and we can get some children from outside, and the children of this place must be given training with some concession. We have some children like Oriole and all these little children.
But some outsiders.
We can advertise here and start a school here also sometime.
Very good idea. And some outsiders we could advertise for as well.
And get more children to teach Pattak once a week. He can come down with his wife and start a center here.
We can encourage our people to do this and also advertise it outside.
We can do it in this area.
It's an excellent idea.
Good from Balam and all these places. And this hall you can use it for one day in a week, say maybe one of the days wherever you think like. Wednesday or in the morning time, perhaps maybe for the children, or in the evening time.
Whatever times he's free. Probably.
Evening time is there.
Daytime is better for
daytime,
weekends.
On a Saturday.
Saturday is the best time. Because of school and family problems, and parents don't like children.
कसं वाटलं तुम्हाला? बरं वाटतंय शांत. थोडं it has to grow. It has to grow. पण ह्याच्यावर थोडी मेहनत करावी लागते. ते समजावून सांगते आपल्या. So, is there any other question?
I would have a question. You mentioned that in Bombay there would be an ashram with a school for children. That wasn't your intention. Could you?
No. You see, somebody has donated us a land free for the school. That's already there. It's still there. I want to start that school myself. And now this donation of the land is also coming up to maturity for the ashram, which is another place, which is near Tulsi Lake, where he has given us an acre land. Now the school land is about 6-7 acres, and for which we can start a school there, a regular school, where the children can be educated, and we can have a hostel for them and a proper school. Now that is one. Then thirdly, there's one offering of a land by President of India. So that's another third ashram we have got. Now 3 ashrams are there. Now we have sufficient money to begin work in Bombay as it is. And you people have also donated very generously whatever money is there. All that money we can use for building up the school as well as the ashram. But we need little more money, which will be coming further on. Now the foreign exchange that you gave me in francs and all that, the 500 francs, I must tell you what happened with that, is that we have used it in francs in a particular place, because they said if you convert it to pounds and then into Indian money, you'll be losing a lot. But it will be converted into Indian money by the way that it can be used here as pounds, and we can get them into rupees in India. So, I mean, whatever is expense that you have to do in pounds, that can be adjusted. But there's no hanky-panky about it, nothing illegal, nothing wrong. So this is what it is. So most of the money that you have given for the ashram is there, plus I'm expecting some more money from the people of Australia are going to give some money. This money should be sufficient according to my judgment for both the cases. But in case we need money for a bigger, I mean we'll have a master plan, and if we need more money we'll see. But school is very easy. I'm going to work it out with the education minister to have a school for children coming from foreign countries. For example, Indians in England want to have a school also. But there's another plot of land somebody is willing to donate me for starting a school in England. for Indian children, because to teach them Indian life and Indian culture and Indian style and Indian themes and Indian philosophy, ultimately Sahaja Yoga. But just now, my hands are so full. They trust me, they've given me the land and all that. And they said, we will collect some money. Actually, today they had invited me for dinner, but I have told this our ambassador to go and see the gentleman. Tomorrow, maybe I will talk to him about this scheme. So we might have another school in London. But for Sahaja Yogis, the best thing will be the school that we are going to have in India at a certain stage. Many young children will not have, but little grown up, so that they can be looked after and could be trained in a proper style of Sahaja Yoga. So that is it. So both the things I want to do, but in the ashram I will not have the school.
The question, if I may ask, is do you foresee a long summer course for these children, or do you foresee a full 1-year course? In the sense that if we Westerners send our children away, and it's a full year course, that means for the whole year...
It will be all run on the international line. There won't be anything that if you want to take them out from there, also it will be easy for you to do. But by that time, all the lifestyle will change, everything will change.
I was trying to have some...
mental.
He won't join foreign service like him.
Well, no, I don't wish this to him.
A diplomat. त्याच्या मुलाचं नाव मी मच्छिंद्रनाथ ठेवलेलं आहे. मच्छिंद्रनाथ. आज एकाचं नाव ज्ञानेश्वर ठेवलं. Where is Jnaneshwara? He's gone outside. Poor things are expelled. हे हा स्वित्झर्लंडचा. त्यानेच पुस्तक लिहिलेलं आहे. ते आम्ही तुम्हाला देणार होतो बक्षीस. पुस्तक घ्यायचं लिहिलेलं आहे काय, आणि 2 पुस्तक आहे. पण त्याची काय की कॉपीज अजून आलेल्या नाही. ते आम्ही आपल्याला बहुतेक सगळ्या एक्झॉस्ट झालेल्या आहे. पण आता तुम्ही पार होऊन घ्या आणि सहयोगात जमा. यू बिकम द गुरु. कधी मास्टरी करून घ्यायची, देन एनी आर्ट इज द इझिएस्ट थिंग टू डू. कारण स्वतः साक्षात जेव्हा सरस्वतीचा अंगात वाहू लागल्यावरती व्हॉट इज सो डिफिकल्ट, नेव्हर गेट टायर्ड, नथिंग न्यू आयडियाज कमिंग इन, एव्हरीथिंग बिकम्स डिफरंट. द लाईफ बिकम्स डायनामिक बिकॉज डायनामिझम स्टार्ट होईल. या सहयोगात बसायला पाहिजे सगळं. आता एक ह्यांचं असं प्रपोजल होतं की आता आमच्या ही जागा तुम्ही बघा जाऊ चारीकडे. याच्यातली हा हॉल सुद्धा म्हणजे फार मोठा नाही पण सर्वसाधारण ठीक आहे. त्यांचं म्हणणं असं होतं की तुम्ही आठवड्यात कोणत्याही दिवशी विशेषतः सॅटर्डेला जर तुम्ही सकाळी इथे क्लास घ्यायचा म्हटला तर हे तयार आहे. इथे ॲडव्हर्टाईज करून इतर मुलांना घेऊन येतील आणि तुम्ही क्लास करा. पण आमची सहयोगाची जर मुलं असतील तर त्यांना थोडं कन्सेशनवर आणि बाकीच्यांना तुम्ही शिकवा आणि हे सकाळच्या वेळा तुम्हाला अवेलेबल आम्ही करू. इंडियन डान्सिंगचं मुलं आणि मुली यांना इथे सुरू करता येईल आपल्याला. असा यांचा एक प्रपोजल आपल्यासाठी विशेष.
शनिवारचे दिवस थोडंसं
मग कोणत्या दिवशी सकाळी म्हणजे मुलं नसतात,
शनिवारी कार्यक्रम असतं,
तर संध्याकाळी सकाळचं म्हणते कधी करणार. कारण मुलांना शाळेतनं सुट्टी असायला पाहिजे तुमचं करायला सुद्धा. आणि त्याची जी काय फीज असेल वगैरे ते सगळं तुम्हाला, म्हणजे आमचं त्याच्यात काही नाही.
पण शनिवारचं काय असतं संध्याकाळी.
तुम्ही जेव्हा म्हणाल तेव्हा तुम्ही स्वतः विचार करू मला दिवस कळवा. पण असं आहे की मुलं त्यावेळेला भेटायला पाहिजे. संध्याकाळच्या वेळेला मुलं मिळतील पण किंवा सकाळी शनिवार रविवार. म्हणून मी शनिवार म्हटलं तर कधी म्हणा तुम्ही. फक्त आमच्या सोमवारी आणि गुरुवारी 2 प्रोग्राम्स होतात. कधी तुम्ही केलं तरी चालेल. कारण असं आहे की हे सगळे जातात प्रोग्रामला. बाकी तुम्हाला हा चांगला हॉल आहे. माझी अशी इच्छा आहे की आपलं इंडियन आर्ट या देशामध्ये यायला पाहिजे, लोकांना समजलं पाहिजे. दुसरं काही त्याच्यात हेतू नाही. त्याचं जे काय असेल ते तुम्ही चालवा. तो क्लास तुम्हीच त्याचे पैसे करायचं. तुम्हाला काही भाडं द्यावं लागणार नाही, काही नाही. फक्त तिथून इथे यायचं आणि आपला क्लास इथे जो आम्ही तुम्हाला ॲडव्हर्टायझिंग करून देऊ इथे जेवढं करता येईल आम्हाला तेवढं. आणि तुम्ही थोडं जे काय तुम्हाला बोलायचं असेल ते पुष्कळ इंडियन्स राहतात बालांमध्ये. पण पर्यायाने त्यांना मग सहयोग यायला पाहिजे. नंतर येईलच कारण इथे येतील ॲटमॉस्फिअरला. तर त्याच्यात आमचा काही हेतू नाही आहे. फक्त आपल्या कलेला वाढ द्यायची. बरं ही एक गोष्ट. देन वी वॉन्टेड टू टॉक टू पीपल फ्रॉम से France or wherever they want to arrange program and all that. So I would say that all such people who would like to arrange program this year or next year anywhere should contact him and take his address, write to him and find out from him this year or next year. And I would gradually give him idea as to how to prepare on the lines of Kundalini and all that, so that you can arrange his program and he can be paid for his program and all that. But you see, by that, doing so, that you give them the essence, really the essence of our art, and the whole idea about how the Shavataras have come and what is the thing. त्याचं तत्व समजून घेतलं पाहिजे, so that you see we can spread. फक्त एवढंच असतं की सहयोगाने जेव्हा प्रोग्राम होईल तेव्हा थोडंसं थीम वरती आम्ही आपल्याला
ह्या 12 ऑगस्टला मी हॉलंडला चाललो. तुझं हॉलंडची जवळ कोणती जागा असेल त्यांना सहज पडेल, कारण
आता 12 ऑगस्टला I don't know if they can arrange so early or not. But he's going to Holland on the 12th of August. ते सगळं काय आपण हे आम्ही पत्र लिहायसाठी आपण बोलून घ्या त्याच्याशी. Now another thing is in England itself, like Birmingham and all these places, to spread Sahaja Yoga, one of the ways is to present it in a dance drama. I see, is a good idea to present the Kundalini, the whole Avatara, the whole how God has created the universe and all these things. If you put it through some such media, it's more entertaining and it goes into the mind much more easily through emotional, we should say, upheaval in a personality. So that could be done also. And also I have asked some poets who are very good singers who said that they would like to do it. But only problem with them is that the language, you see, with the Western people, they can understand dance. They can understand, say, drama to some extent. But other things, because this is audio visual, other things are not such successful things. So we'll try that, but first let us try with the dance, and I'll work out themes with them, even in Australia or anywhere, Birmingham, anywhere. Even Indians would like to come to such a place. So we can work it out, and that's the way we are going to sort of propagate about Sahaja. All right?
The evolution of Kundalini.
Evolution of Kundalini, I will going to tell him. I'll sit down with him, I'll explain to him, talk to him, tell him all about it, the relationship of the incarnations, how the incarnations have gone. It's a new theme altogether, Navina's dimension, I think. I will talk to him and tell him all about it. One day we'll sit down and then we'll sort it out. If not this year, next year. Whatever it is, he'll prepare it. It's not difficult for him to maneuver it. It's very simple. See, maneuvering is not difficult for him at all. It's a manipulation of the theme. But theme has to be given to him, that's all. That I'll manage, but you find out. Like in Cambridge or anywhere. आणि त्याशिवाय तुम्ही जर कोणत्या समजा गावाला गेलात, पॅरिसला गेलात, कुठे गेलात, तर तिथले इतर ऑर्गनायझेशन्स आहेत त्यांनी तुम्हाला बोलवत, तर तुम्ही त्या एक प्रोग्राम यांना द्या फक्त. बाकी तुम्हाला कुणी बोलवतील तर तिथे आपण जायचं, म्हणजे कसं ते प्रोपगेट होत जाणार आपलं सुद्धा. ठीक आहे ना?
म्हणूनच मी ते सांगितलं हॉलंडला ते जातं.
He is going to Holland on the 12th of August. And he could go easily to Paris or some place close by.
We could be available that weekend before. 12th is Janmashtami, Thursday, and Saturday before that is around 9th or 8th. Between 9th and 11th we can do it.
See now,
weekend.
Paris people can think about it. If it is possible, you take his address, upon address in there, and his phone number. Alright? That's one of the media which will really be very good to communicate.
Yes, Mother.
And also we should discuss how much we are going to organize, how much we are going to pay, whatever it is, that is between you and him. I have nothing to do.
It'd be wonderful to celebrate.
More than anything, I will do that for Mother's blessing. As you are talking about the finance, but I said, more than that, I am looking for Mother's blessing.
We have understood this and our reaction shows it, but this still belongs to the rules of the game, that it should be all absolutely settled and just and all right.
Nobody is to be exploited in
commercial
Sahaja
level.
Yoga. आमच्याकडे हे
You should-
कोणाला exploit नाही.
You should
कोणाला
absolutely
भरपूर
get
झालं पाहिजे.
your own.
So no exploitation is to be done, nothing of the kind, because you see nobody needs money, nobody needs. This is a place the government has given us free in a way. आमच्याकडे सगळं मुफतखोरी आम्ही काम करतो आणि आमचं सगळं मुफतसारखंच होऊन राहिलं. So you see that is, but nobody should suffer on account of Sahaja Yoga. That's one of the principles. So many principles there are, and one of them was not to do anything illegal. And some people put the posters, so it's nice they have paid the fines.
But once that his production is up to what he desires to be, and that he expresses something on Kundalini, it could be taken on video and be circulated on this basis, also with some kind of financial arrangement. That's also a possibility.
You can do it.
Because it's very
Once I prepare the whole theme, talk to him, I will tell him about Kundalini, everything. He must get his realization fully. And then I'll explain to him everything. म्हणजे तो लेवलच तुमचं वेगळं होणार मग. Alright? It's a beautiful combination. He's from Maharashtra and she's from Bengal. See, beautiful. Both countries are, both provinces very much gifted with art, you see. But Bengal is another art, and what art he is performing is from UP. Can you imagine? It's a very good combination.
We're very fortunate to have met them, Mother.
It's all Sahaja.
My fortune.
We suddenly discovered him. I don't know how, still I don't remember how we discovered him suddenly. काय झालं कसं झालं आम्ही आलो माहित नाही.
सहयोग.
सहयोग झाला. काही समजलंच नाही. I just don't remember what happened really, how we went there.
I think you rang Gavin, you rang Gavin.
So how did you ring? तुम्हाला कसा पत्ता लागला?
Somebody telephoned me and said the Holy Mother would like to come, and I was so excited. I felt something, and I immediately got. I said yes, I will do anything. So you must come, and then I telephoned the organizers, and I spoke to them, and I told them that anything they are doing, even if I have to buy the tickets for everybody, so I would like them to come. The organizer said, "No, I shouldn't buy in that part." And that's how it came. And then we performed in Wadsworth, and we saw Mother was there, and her followers. And that's
I think Varadrajan told someone. Varadrajan is the person responsible. Perhaps. He's another very fine soul. So, any other questions for my travelling and all that? We'll discuss about it. Later.
Could I ask a
Yes,
question?
yes.
It's really on behalf of my wife, Patricia, but she's probably not thought of it. What is the secret of the cool breeze in the mouth? Because when Pat gets angry with people who doubt you, and she shouts at them, she gets a cool breeze in the mouth.
Good. That's the divine flowing. Yes. If they doubt, you better shout. Because these are the bhoots that doubt. Okay? If somebody is a very sensitive person, I went to buy some toys in the shop. And just like that, is it? While my husband has a big car and a chauffeur and all that, he had been there before. And that day I just went with Nick in our car. And the fellow, the salesman, suddenly, I don't know what happened to him. He asked Nick, who is this lady? So why? It's a feeling. Some majesty is walking into. I mean, in his shop must be getting also His Majesty the Queen might be, Her Majesty the Queen might be walking or somebody. I said, really? What is he saying to you? I said, Mother, he wants to know about you. Very insistent. Somehow or other, he is absolutely spellbound. I said, all right, then tell him. When he was not impressed by anyone else, so far. So it's the sensitivity of a person. And if the person is doubting all the time, they must know that there's something wrong. I have seen Sahajogis when they go out, they start saying things which are something I can't believe it. So the doubting comes from them, and sometimes if you shout, will help. Maybe. Then the cool breeze starts coming. The Kundalini, it becomes Vani. Becomes the Vani is what? Language. Vani is
Vani,
Vani.
le langage. Vani, le speech.
Language, yes, speech. It becomes speech. First it is para. You know that, para, pashanti, madhyama and all that. And then it becomes the Vani. Vaikhari, when it speaks.
Donc la question c'est, est-il possible?
That means you are blessed by the divine. All the deities are happy with you. Sri Ganesha especially is very happy.
Quand vous enguirlandez quelqu'un qui s'oppose ou qui doute Mataji, Sri Ganesha est très content.
And that Sri Krishna is out now with his Sudarshana. That means that also with one Vishuddhi. It's great to get the cool breeze from the mouth. It's a good thing. But you are so correct in Sahaja Yoga. You have been. The way you settled down was remarkable, a great quality, isn't she?
Yes.
It's a great quality. I mean, you are an actress. You have been an actress. And for an actress to suddenly take to Sahaja Yoga like that is something remarkable. I can't imagine. Magda is another one. Both of you. It's great, remarkable, great quality.
Thank you for my wife, Mama.
David Prawl brought me. He had a horrible experience of Sahaja Yoga. ते तर एकदम उडाले 20 फूट. त्याचे महेश योगाने मंत्र घालून ठेवलेले. वेड्यावर होणार ते. सगळ्यांना लुटून ठेवलेले. ते किती असे लोक त्यांना एपिलेप्सी झाली की त्या महेश योगाकडनं. सारे पैसे घेतले, एक मंत्र दिला, ठिंगाचा मंत्र दिला आणि 300 पाउंड घेतले प्रत्येकाकडे. इतके साधे लोक आहेत. असे सगळ्यांना मूर्खात काढून राहिले. स्वतःचे 5-5 बायका ठेवलेल्या आहेत, एरोप्लेननी जातात. त्यांना काही समजतच नाही. संत साधू कसे असतात. बिचारे आपले पैशावर पैसे देतील. एक तर ड्यूकची मुलगी आहे, ती रस्त्यावर आली आहे. सगळ्यांना लुटून डुबाडून खाऊन घेते हिंदुस्थानातले लोक. ते भामटे आलेले आहेत, भयंकर. साधे लोक आहेत, त्यांना समजत. एक त्याला रोल्स रॉयस पाहिजे, त्यांनी 58 रोल्स रॉयस घेतले आहेत आणि मला म्हणे 59th पाहिजे. तो उपाशी राहून त्याच्यासाठी विचाराने घेतली. तो बालयोगी आणि रक्तबीजाचा अवतरण आहे. रक्तबीज साक्ष. तुमचा साईबाबा जो आजकाल आले, म्हणजे पूर्वीचे सोडा आपले हे जे साईबाबा म्हणून आले ते महिषासुराचे अवतरण आहे. पक्का दिसतो सुद्धा म्हशीसारखा बघा तुम्ही. आणि त्यांचे महाभक्त आहे श्रीमान तुमचे. अहो एवढी भक्ती करतो त्याची, काय त्याच्या दयामाया आहे का माणसाला. असले गुरु ठेवून फायदा काय. Yes.
Smala, why does Sri Ganesha hold the rope and the goat?
Otherwise, who will do the job? Especially in Scotland. When they are drunk from 12 o'clock onwards. Sri Ganesha has to use all that.
To beat them with it, Mother.
Scotland आहे आश्रम तिथे.
Mother, I have a naive question, but at first, here in French, my English is so poor. Je voulais savoir s'il n'est pas un peu dangereux Et risqué, je suis troublé de l'importance qu'ont des noms comme Durga, comme Kali, etc. J'en vois pas encore clairement le symbolisme, et je me demande si c'est pas risqué de jongler avec Malakala, Bhairav, Duram.
Okay, I give you his background first. He's a journalist and he has a lot inquired in spiritual field. And his question at this stage...
From Switzerland.
From Switzerland, yes. And his question, that doesn't... his question is that he is a little bit... He cannot relate to the fact that we use so much personified deities. Durga, Bhairava... No, they are not. Durga and Bhairava are not demons, I'm sorry. But I mean... so, he does not understand all the personal aspect of the deities. C'est juste.
Il n'y a pas de danger à jongler.
Is it not dangerous to play with all this?
No, not at all. You see, first you understand them, then you will know. But it is dangerous if you don't know their protocol, what they represent, then it will be dangerous. But in Sahaja Yoga, they know that you are ignorant. They know you are children. They forgive you. They look after you. They play some tricks, that's all. What's it? You answered it. Now what I'm saying, that in Sahaja Yoga, as I've told you today, that they should not run into any conclusions. It's for them, if it is a hypothesis, all right, hypothesis. Come along, see for yourself, work it out, because it's a new dimension into which you are coming. As I've told, that it's not a mental projection. It's not just a conception. It's what it is. So please keep your eyes open, come inside and see for yourself everything verified. And this is a dangerous time. Because once you become realized, you start doubting, and that's the time you get out. So you have to be very steady, because that's the seedling time. That's the seedling time. Now there is a centripetal force and a centrifugal force in Sahaja Yoga.
No.
So by one force you are attracted, and by another you are thrown away into a tangent.
No.
So by staying in it, you oblige yourself, you do not oblige anybody else. It is your obligation on yourself. Alright?
What to do when you are in a sentimental mood?
What did you say? What to do when you have a...
What to do when you are in a romantic mood? I think that's the question.
Dhanvari is too young for that. You see, romantic mood is also not a bad thing. It's not bad at all. It's one of the moods of God Himself. There's nothing wrong. But you cannot be all the time with everyone in a romantic mood. It's only with your wife you can be. And you have no wife, so I don't know how you... You see, perverted romance is not romance at all. It's not romance, perverted. It's romance is with your wife, in privacy, in all sacredness. Such complications have been created out of romance these days that I'm shocked. It's a psychological, they have become psychopaths with this kind of a romance that's on. I mean, amazingly, it's so funny that I just can't understand how human beings can get into such a nonsensical state. I mean, when I talk to people who have patience, I'm amazed. Is there any, Chris? Chris, what's happening about your thesis?
I'm just coming on with it. This year.
What else? No question. Who's there?
This is Isabel.
Yes, Isabel, what is it? Not in Italian.
She would like to know what is your dearest desire now?
Mine?
Yes.
You don't know I'm desireless. Really, I'm desireless. I don't know what is my desire. I'm sorry.
Mother, but you are the desire of somebody, so...
Yes, I am the desire of somebody. So ask the person.
We can ask only through you.
You see, only the whatever is Purna, is complete, has no desire. Only thing one can think of that you all become complete. But that cannot be a desire, that can be a blessing. If you accept the blessings, you will become. That's what it is. It's a question of your freedom, whether you want to accept it or not. If you don't want to accept, I cannot force. But to me, the greatest blessing that you should ask is that you should become complete. When you become blissful, how can you have desires? When you become the giver, how can you have desires? You just give, you can't take anything. So what can you desire? Yes, John? That's it.
Mataji, may we have a
Did somebody? No, you.
May we have
Which
a puja for Janmashtami on the 12th?
Yes, yes, of course. Somebody is becoming a great pujari now. He did 1,000 names of Shri Ganesha to do 1,000 names of Guru. हमें आज के लिए यज्ञ 1,000 names of Shri Ganesha and 1,000 names of Guru we did. I mean, it's a tremendous thing to do.
सहजोगामध्ये कोणी एकच देवाचं असेल?
नाही सर्व देव, सगळे धर्म,
शंकर
सगळे सगळ्यांचं आहे. त्यांचा संबंध आपापसात काय आहे, आत्म्याचा संबंध काय आहे, प्रत्येक म्हणजे मोहम्मद साहेबांना मी फार मानतो, सगळ्यांना मानतो. ते सगळं मी आपल्याला समजावून सांगेन काय रिलेशनशिप वगैरे आहे ते, त्यांचे ते कोण आहेत, त्यांचा जन्म काय झाला, कोण कोणाचे काय, सगळे रिलेशनशिप्स आहेत ते आपापसात. त्यांची मुलगी कोण होती, ती पूर्वजन्मी कोण होती, त्यांची मुलं कोण, ते काय झाले, कसं काय, ते सगळं त्यांचं चालू आहे सगळं. क्राइस्टने म्हटलंय दोज आर नॉट अगेन्स्ट मी आर विथ मी, पण ते कोण? क्राइस्ट. क्राइस्ट म्हणजे महाविष्णूचा अवतार आहे. ते सगळं मी सांगेन आपल्याला. So who is saying? Did you say something?
I didn't know.
You did put your hand up? No. Somebody there?
Ricardo.
Ricardo? Yeah?
Rodrigo.
This is Rodrigo. Yeah?
Rodrigo, sorry.
Yes, sorry.
I would like to ask you, what is the difference between the silence of the central part and the love and devotion that came from the left heart?
The difference between the silence of Sushumna and the love and devotion of the left side. What is the difference? What is the connection? Sorry.
Of the left heart.
The love of the left heart.
In left heart is a thing of emotions, you can say, or we can say it is the seat of the spirit. Alright? And spirit is silence. If you mean left heart means spirit. Spirit is silence. It's at the axis. At the axis. What do you say to the axis in French?
L'axe.
In Lille, it was in May, last May, you said we didn't have to work on people, on new people. We should work, you said, with our attention only. But I don't know, I feel that I have to work on the people.
Robert, you are all right. You should work with your hands, with everything. It was meant for some other people. You see, some people who are not yet done, who are not alright, who are half-baked, they start working, they'll have problems, they'll give me problems, you see. It's alright for you, you're perfect already, you're really great. You came out of that horrible Rajneesh and you have achieved such a thing. I must say, it's congratulations to you 10 times. You're a real seeker. You are a real seeker. No doubt. It's tremendous. So whatever I say to others is not meant for you, it's for mediocres. You can do it, whatever you like. Depends on, you see. Everybody cannot. Supposing you don't know how to cook and somebody asks you to cook, what will you make out of it? So I must have warned them. Anil is very mediocre, very mediocre. We are one person there, great. The rest is all nonsense.
But you know, Mother,
Kathy's husband.
I invited them to Ghent, and there was a program, and they spoke, and I translated, and it was great. There were about 40 people got their realization.
Good. I'll make it one day Belgium, somehow, in between. I'll find out. 1 or 2 days when I come back from Russia. Alright?
Mother, not before you come to Yorkshire.
That's fine? What's it?
Not before you come to Yorkshire.
Not before you come to Yorkshire.
I really don't know how I'm placed with anything. I have to again go through that, what you have written, because it's so many times changed that you can't imagine. So we have to go through it again and sort it out. Of course, I'm coming to Yorkshire. All right, that's promised. Now, I would say that we have to sit down in my room to sort out my program. Any suggestions for program, if you have to give, you tell me. Or should I do one thing today, we sort it out and let him put it up on the notice board, and then you tell me what you want me to change.
But I think for us it's very
I mean, you have got...
We made a provisional arrangement for August for you, Mother. If you like, we could discuss it and put it up while people are still here, so that it can be...
That's what I'm saying, today we'll do it.
Yes.
Sit down and do it, alright? Vivek?
Because I'm leaving tomorrow morning early, so I'd like to be sure...
Early in the morning?
Yes.
What time?
My flight is at 10 o'clock.
Oh.
So I would like to be sure that the 25th of September...
I'm going to Vienna. Done.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Mother, can you speak to us about the signification of the story of Adam and Eve?
You are facing the Pope recently, or what's the problem about it?
I think it would interest the Italians, you know.
I don't know the story, you tell me. You see, Bible was written from the extracts that people received from the unconscious. It is not the complete books, we cannot say, have come through meditative effort, meditative expressions or manifestations. For example, a person like St. Paul to be included in Bible. I mean, I don't know what is the justification, what is the authority, how could you do it? He was not a realized soul, you can see that very clear.
Par exemple, Saint Paul n'était pas réalisé. Mother, in the story of Adam and Eve, there is one point which maybe I may just mention, is that all mankind is suffering from one first sin. This first sin is that there was a tree in the garden of paradise, and this seems to be Kundalini.
All right.
So it is Anadikar Kundalini, the first sin.
Anadikar Cheshta.
Anadikar Cheshta. Okay. So le premier péché de l'humanité qui voulait être expliqué par cette histoire du péché original, c'est la conscience, c'est le savoir non autorisé du sphadistin gauche.
Also, may I make another point about the story of the Garden of Eden? Garden of Eden is Muladhara, it's like a Muladhara, innocence.
Alright.
And also the other point is that you cannot eat of the tree of knowledge until you've eaten of the tree of life.
Authorized.
You are not authorized. Tree of life is the Kundalini, tree of knowledge is like the Vidya. You cannot eat of the tree of knowledge until you've eaten of the tree of life. That's why it's forbidden.
It's anadika. It has to write. Today is the time you can eat. What do they understand? They don't understand. It is such a symbolic thing, the whole thing is. Like I will appear before you like tongues of flames. Now ask them what is it? Will they be able to? Tree of life itself they cannot explain. It is too symbolic for a Western mind. It's alright for Indians. They don't understand symbolism because they are too direct.
Rose.
I don't say that.
Ils sont trop directs.
Now, for example, why do you worship a flag? It's a symbol, isn't it? Respect a flag. Why? It's a symbol. But now the main thing that has happened in the West through this mental projection, which is another horrible attack, is that have no respect for anyone whatsoever. Have no respect.
Well, I think there is someone a bit... You are fine, okay, good. Thank you. Some people were worried about it. It's all right.
So, you see, what is the attack is, in the mental way, what you have done is attacked the very basis of respect, because respect is not a concrete gross stuff. And they say if you respect someone, that means you have certain weakness. It's the worst thing that can happen to human beings. I mean, if they do not know how to respect, they are not even human beings, I would say. So how will they understand any symbols? And Bible is a thing which is given to people who don't understand symbolism. But still, I mean, they have raised so many churches, things out of that. I don't know what they are up to. I don't know. That a priest puts a bread in the mouth. This is the flesh of Christ you eat. I mean, this is too much, isn't it?
They believe it, Mother.
You want to eat his flesh? Already you have crucified him, now you want to eat his flesh or what? Just think of it, it's absurd.
N'est-ce pas?
What's the matter?
I think he shakes a little bit. Should he put a hand outside, Mother?
Alright, it's alright. You come here down here. You can put your left hand outside. Left hand towards me, right hand outside. Yes. He's been to some guru or someone.
Yes, it's going.
Alright, doesn't matter. Put your left hand towards me, right hand outside. Sagre bichare maar khami. So gaye. Deshuddha ka pata काय काय स्थिती याची करून ठेवली. Help him a little.
You put the left hand toward Mother and the right hand outside.
Just help him. Yeah.
It's not a question, it's just to say that our mother is really too simple for us.
Sorry?
I'm very simple person. I should have two horns here, is it? Everything that is normal is simple. I don't know what is to be proud of. I don't understand. I mean, what is there? Whatever I am, I am. What is there to be proud of it? You may be proud because you have achieved something. I have achieved nothing. I have achieved nothing. Whatever I am like this. So what is there to be proud of? You could be proud. All right.
Why?
Because you have achieved. You were not born with this awareness. You have achieved something, you can be proud. But why should I be? I have to be simple. Absolutely, it's the simplest thing. त्यांना हे नाही समजत कितक्या साध्या कशा माथात काहीतरी तोरा मिळवला पाहिजे मिरवला पाहिजे. Whatever you say, I will do that. It will become a little complicated. Well, I'm not so simple as you think. Especially you know that very well. Sankalpa vikalpa karoti. All right? So be careful. It's all a camouflage.
Faites attention, soyez prudents, parce que cette forme que vous voyez n'est qu'un camouflage.
So well done.
Yes, madam. But still, what should we be proud of? Because even that by which we please you comes from you.
You see, but what I'm saying, you can at least feel that you have achieved something, isn't it? Something achieved, isn't it? If that means pride. Pride comes because you achieve something in life. Here I have not achieved anything whatsoever.
I understand.
See, if I have to be proud, I can be proud of my Sahajogis. But they themselves have achieved, so they are more proud than me. How can I be more proud than them? But good to have pride. There's a difference between vanity and pride. Pride means you have achieved really something and you're proud of it. And vanity means you have achieved nothing and you are proud.
Il y a une différence entre la fierté et la vanité. La fierté, c'est que vous avez vraiment réalisé quelque chose et vous en êtes fier. Et la vanité, c'est que vous n'avez absolument rien fait et que vous êtes fier quand même.
Pare, dogo pare. Tera apno, hoya baga no? Just came and slept here? Yes? They don't need, they are in that state. So they can feel it.
Yeah, some of it is tired. I'm asking you to come off his time, which is okay.
That's it.
Could it not be that you've earned your position in this
What's
life?
it?
Could it not be that you have earned what you are in this life?
No. Nothing doing, you see. I've been zero and I'm zero, I will be zero. Absolutely. Nothing.
La question était, ne se peut-il peu que vous avez achevé votre... vous avez progressé jusqu'au niveau où vous êtes. Et Mataji a dit, il n'en est pas question. Zéro j'étais, zéro je suis, zéro je serai.
No.
Well, I wish to know something about compassion and charity. If it's correct, like a good understanding, good interpreting, did you have said to somebody that it's not essential, it's not necessary to the faire de l'aide humanitaire, and why?
Okay. He would like to know the difference between compassion and charity, because he heard that you suggested that humanitarian actions are not necessarily good.
No. I didn't say they are not good, but that is, see what I'm saying, that when you become realized, say what I am now, say I cure somebody, supposing, so-called. So what do? I just put my hand, a person gets cured, alright? Now I didn't cure him, nothing of the kind. What happens? He's part and parcel of my being. Who is the other? When there is no feeling of other, then there is compassion. It just flows. It's part and parcel within yourself that you cure someone. Because something within you is suffering, you just cure it. It's for yourself, you don't do it for others. There's nobody the other. Who is the other? This is compassion. And the basis of charity is wrong, because somebody is the other. Like we have one lady in India who has now received a Padma Shri or something.
Red Cross?
Red Cross. She's received the highest, some Nobel Prize or something. I don't know. All right. Yes. Now this lady, if you see her, you'll be amazed. She's beyond redemption, I tell you. She's so hot-tempered. Wow. You can't talk to her. She gives such hot vibrations, her kundalini is frozen down. And she gets a Nobel Prize. What she does? She collects money from people, gets some poor people in the house, keep them there. They die, so-called under her care. All right. That is not God's job. That's your job. That's human being's job. You have created poverty. You have created problem. Why did the English went to India? Why did they go to India to rule us? We have become poor now. You better pay for it. Are English willing to pay for what they have done? To rectify? On the contrary, they don't even allow Indians to come down here. You see? Who has done this? Who has created the poverty? It is you, the human beings. You better correct it yourself. God has nothing to do with it. And then you develop egos. Oh, we have done this. We have done this charity. We have brought this. Forefathers of this Madam Teresa only did all this in Bengal. That's why people are poor, and now this woman is taking the credit for it. She has nothing in her. She is absolutely a hot pan, Little water you pour on her, she'll dissolve. Very hot tempered. She made such a fuss one day when I was traveling by plane. You can't imagine. She was jumping from here to there, there to there. She stopped the plane, she did everything. She wanted the front seat because she was Madam Teresa. That time she didn't have a Nobel Prize. And there were 2-3 sick people who were traveling, but she wouldn't listen. I was in the same plane. Horrible. I said, who is this horrible woman? She said, I am Mother Teresa. He said, whatever mother you may be, but these people are sick and you better sit at the back because this seat is reserved for her. And she wouldn't allow the plane to. Such a ego-oriented woman.
But they do good works, Mother. They
What?
do good works.
So-called. First you create a problem and then do it and then have Nobel Prizes for that. Alright? And then be satisfied you have done great jobs. I tell you, only because she's a Catholic she has got this Nobel Prize thing. This is absolutely menial job. It's menial, it's Shudra. This is Shudra Samstha. It's a collective sin. It's a collective sin, you see. Collective sin. It's colonization is a collective sin.
Yes. Mais elle parle de la colonisation.
Colonization is a collective sin, all right?
Colonization is a collective sin.
All right. It's a collective sin. Now when you committed a sin and whatever the wages of the sin are, to rectify it you form another organization out of which one person goes and helps those people. All right? When you help them and then the same organization gives her a Nobel Prize. It's a big joke going on. You see the point?
All the colonization books are getting up.
Who asked that? Who asked these Spaniards to go and completely finish all the South Africans and South Americans? See, and now you see it is such a drama. This is like you see you have a what you call that, a climax and an anti-climax, you see. It's like this. It's built in. First of all you have the climax of destruction and then an anti-climax. What is there to help? Only the spirit is to be helped. That's God's work. I asked somebody why the Christians took to missionary work. So they told me that when Christ was to be crucified, before that Mary Magdalene brought some expensive oil, wanted to anoint his feet with that. And this Peter the Great, you see, he said that, why do you want to waste this precious oil on his feet? Why not give it to the poor? So Christ said, these poor are forever, means that's a headache forever, alright? But I am for a short time. That means spiritual life is for a short time. That doesn't mean by any chance that you have to make poor suffer. It doesn't mean by any chance. But you create poverty and disparities and you try to correct them is your own game, is the game of human beings. God has nothing to do with it. It has no spiritual significance, I mean to say. Can you explain? Sahaja Yoga is going to work out for the people of middle path. Neither for the very rich, they are already doomed forever, and nor for the very poor, which may be saved later.
Sahaja Yoga est pour les gens middle class.
That's an abuse in English language, you see. In India, middle class means the class which looks after the virtues, looks after the values, looks after all the traditions of the country. That is the middle class. Is the most precariously placed class is middle class in India. But this is a funny country, I ask them why middle class is so bad, because they don't pay their taxes. In India, the rich don't pay the taxes. How can the middle class cannot pay the taxes? Most of them are bureaucrats and the government takes away the taxes before they get their pay. I don't know why this idea of middle class is existing here. Here the kings and the queens had no morality. Who would like to be of their category? I don't understand. But this is what it is. They have condemned somebody as middle class. I don't know why they condemn. Poor middle class is the one which is trying to keep all the traditions of the world. But, so it is for the middle path. Like the river flows in the center, and when it is increased in size, it engulfs both the sides in it. So maybe some rich might come, like Rajesh has now joined us, or somebody like that. May come some rich people, may be there. But it is the poor who will be helped the most of all with Sahaja Yoga later on, because they don't have to pay for their curing, they don't have to have problems with money. Once yoga is established, Shema will be established, like that. So many things can be done. I'll give you an example of Moreshwar's father, Patil. He was a poor man and he came to Sahaja Yoga, he got his realization. And then every time he used to bring a very nice garland for me all the way from Kalwa, which is about 10 miles away from Bombay. So I told him, why do you spend so much money every time for a garland? He said, Mother, with your grace, now I'm well off. I was amazed. Then he told me that he had a plot of land which he was using for tilling and all that, which was not yielding much price to him. But one day a rich man came to him and he said that this soil is very good now, and if you can allow me to use this clay, I can make nice bricks. And he has started paying me for that clay. As Krishna said, Yogakshema Mahamyam, see this grand place that you have got, the hotel you had, the big, can you forget all these things? What you got out of nothing? Somebody told me today, this ambassador, that his daughter is educating herself and she's staying in YMCA where the food is wretched and the room is to be shared. There's no bathrooms at all, few bathrooms, it's terrible condition, and she has to pay 30 pounds per week. 30 pounds per week. Can you imagine? Count your blessings one by one. May God bless you all. So I'll take your leave because I have to discuss these things and then I have to go home. Alright? Bara, Mata, tumi apla patta ite tumi for this place. Mr. What's his name is? Nicholas, where are you? How is your Swadhisthana now? Better? Alright. So you give the address and everything to him. Now those people who may write, would like to write to me, should take down the address of Mr. Pawar from the notice board and should write to him if you have any idea of arranging any program this year or next year, whatever it is. Alright, so you take his address, all of you. Will you please take down his address and contact him? I have given him already the idea that one of the weekdays he can come here and teach dancing to people in this hall, one of the days when it is suitable to you and to him. And we can call people from outside here, we can advertise also so that a contact and a record is established. And he can charge them what he wants and he can teach them. Only for Sahajogis he may give some concession. Of course, you are not going to start dancing, are you? All the people under 10 should join, otherwise we will have a headache. This sound of Really? He says all of you can learn dancing.
At time, in Guyana, I had 3 generations learning at one time.
Awesome.
3 generations.
Father, son,
grandfather and grandmother, then daughter, and the grandfather. 3 generations.
Alright. Then those who want to join can join him also here. He'll find out a suitable timing. So you write it down, telephone to him, find out from him, and then we can advertise outside also for other people to come here. Alright? And whatever are his charges, we are going to pay him as the tradition of Sahajogis is. Those who want to learn. What? Are you thinking, David Proud?
We're having a trio, Mother, yeah. And the Gregoire as well.
There are two actresses at Alright, whatever it is, he is willing to do it. And there is one Mr. Misraji who can teach you tabla if you want. We can ask him also to come and teach you tabla. There's another one I met was Amzad Ali kind of.
Arshad.
Huh?
Arshad.
Arshad Ali, who was playing the violin, he may teach you something.
Sorry, that's Nawazish Ali.
Nawazish Ali. Nawazish Ali, the one who was playing violin, we can contact him also. He's a nice young man. As the airport वर भेटले थे भावाला गेला 10 तारखेला त्याचा प्रोग्राम बघायचा आता कसं काय येता येईल. Like that, so you can learn from them also. All right? No. So may God bless you. आपण आमचं खोली बिली बघा थोडी आणि मग त्याच्यानंतर आपला पत्ता या इथे शेजारी आहे. तुम्ही पत्ता बित्ता द्या है ना. या नाही मी इथे जरा ह्यांना भेटते ना त्यांच्याशी प्रोग्राम करते आपण